Good morning.
Good morning.
If this is your first time, I'm Kyle.
And I'm Michelle, and we're the Wandering Shores.
So, big day today. We've been stationary now for just a little over 2 months, and today's our first travel day in quite some time. So, we're having to get back in the routine, and we're going to take you with us. So you may ask where we're heading. Michelle, where are we heading?
We are heading to a place called Crabby Gulch, and we're meeting up with several couples.
Crabby Gulch? Craggy.
Oh, Craggy Gulch.
Craggy Gulch, Lake Havasu City,
I was
Arizona.
Right.
So we are actually meeting some of our friends up there. We're headed to the 2023 Xscaper Bash. It starts in about 3 or 4 days, but we're going to go up there a little early and boondock with some of our friends. That way we can all head in together and park near each other in the event. So we're taking you with us today on our travel day. It's about a 3-hour travel day. We got to stop up here at the entry where the LTVA is and dump our tanks and get some water, and then we will hit the road. See you soon. All right, Michelle's just finishing up inside, and we're putting a little bit of our Happy Camper into our black and gray tank just to slosh around in there while we're driving to help clean out any residue that might be there. And then we are heading off. We're dumped and full of water and heading to Lake Havasu. We made it to Craggy Wash. We got all set up. Norm and Sandy are right there. Rick and Teresa are down there. Alan and Lisa are in the Grand Design Imagine just around the corner there. They are volunteering at the rally, so they're actually going to be heading out this afternoon. So we probably won't see them again until Saturday when we check in. But we met them up in Sedona. So that's part of the fun about traveling full time. We run back into people and keep in touch and end up hiking and camping and hanging out with people that we've met along the way. So I'm going over to visit with Rick for a little bit and see what's going on here. See you soon. Good morning, everyone. Greetings from Craggy Wash, Lake Havasu City, Arizona. So this morning, Rick and I are actually going to work on a project. So I've been wanting to add Sumo Springs to our travel trailer. We'll show you more about that as we go through the process. But we're going to try to do it here in the middle of the BLM land, and hopefully everything works out as planned. I've got some complications on on the passenger side of the rig because of the propane line, and the leaf springs are not completely centered underneath the frame, so I'm having to add some additional metal plates that Sumo Springs manufactures. So that's going to make the process a little more complicated, and I'm hoping not to have to move the propane line because it's mounted directly to the frame as well. So we're going to take you on this adventure as I install Sumo Springs on the travel trailer. Just getting everything set up and ready. See you soon. Good morning, everyone. So when I last left you, we were getting ready to start on the Sumo Springs install, and gotta be honest, it didn't go as easy as I expected, and to the point where I actually couldn't even film us doing it because we ran into all kinds of complications. Started with the primary issue, which is what we had mentioned earlier, was the propane line. But Rick and I stuck with it. If it hadn't been for him, I would have given up many hours before that. We were out here about 5 hours and got half of the trailer done, but we think today is going to go a lot smoother. So we are now on the backside. There's Rick.
Hello, everybody.
And we're going to film as much of this as we can. And then I'm going to insert here shortly, I'll insert a quick video from the Sumo Springs manufacturer showing you kind of what this system does as far as stabilizing the travel trailer. So thanks again for sticking with us. we've got the jack under there just kind of supporting some of the weight on this half of the rig today. I'm going to go ahead and loosen these lug nuts, and then we will take this tire off and we'll show you what we're working with under there. See you soon.
Video you?
Sure.
Okay.
All right, folks. So we got the tire off. It took us a little bit of time. We had to dig out some of the gravel underneath. So now what we're going to do is we got to mount 2 plates right under there. Let me grab them and I'll show you. So because the leaf spring is not directly under the beam, it's offset, as you can see, we have to mount these above the leaf spring to give it a flatter surface for the cushion to bounce. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to bolt these to there. We've gotten better drill bits now, and hopefully it'll be a little bit easier. Yesterday was absolutely horrible using the dull drill bits that I had. So hopefully this will go smoother, and we'll show you what we come up with here in a minute. All right, Rick is down there getting ready to drill some pilot holes for that mounting bracket, or that platform that we have to put on, and then we'll hopefully get that mounted here. Well, I'll have to explain later all the complications we ran into yesterday with the other side, beyond just the propane line, which we had to end up relocating. So here he is, hard at work. All right, we've got the pilot holes drilled. We got this side mounted. So we're just gonna put in, they're like 1 1/4 inch self-tapping bolts. And let's see how this goes. Look at that. This side's much easier, folks. You can appreciate not having to watch 5 hours of nonsense from yesterday. So we'll be back. We're gonna put the blue thing on and show you what it looks like before we lower it. The mushroom, I call it, installed right over top of the leaf spring. Let me show you a close-up. This one's 5,000 times easier than it was yesterday. I'll tell you about why later. But yeah, so we've got the plate mounted up top. We got the blue mushroom. We're going to put the tire back on, and then we're going to lower it down to compress this. And we did not have to use any spacers on ours. They do come with spacers if you happen to have a bigger gap, but I think our gap was 4 inches, so we didn't need to add any spacers to give it any extra support. And then we'll move to the front tire and jack that one up and repeat and rinse. Okay, you ready? See you soon. I'm back, and we got the job finished. Took us about an hour today to do that other side, and it took us 5 hours to do yesterday. So yeah, we learned our lesson yesterday. We had a lot of other obstacles, like I've mentioned before, but I'll kind of take you in on this side of the camper where it took us so long and show you what one of the big issues was. The propane line was run directly down the frame, and I was hoping that with those metal platforms that we were securing to the edge of the trailer, that it was going to be enough to shift the little mushroom over and avoid the propane line, but it turns out it was not. And so we had to figure out if we could move a steel propane line without bending it or breaking some of the other connections that are running up into the camper. And I think we did it correctly. Let me show you just to kind of give you an idea of what we were working with. If it's a little noisy under here, I got the generator running. I want to make sure we're at 100% before we go to our Lake Havasu Bash tomorrow. So you can see here, here's the propane line. This propane line used to be running directly right across this, right up the frame here. And so you can see now we've got about 1/2 inch or so of clearance on that mushroom, and so on down. But we basically had to shift this whole propane line over about 1.5 inches so that we could clear where it was mounted to the frame. So now the true test will be tomorrow. We don't have very far to go. I think we got probably about 10 miles to drive to get down to the fairgrounds here at Lake Havasu. But yeah, it's been a great camping spot. Feedback on if you're looking to install Sumo Springs. If you don't, if your leaf spring is directly underneath the frame, it's easy peasy, especially if the propane line's not in the way. We would have been done in probably a half an hour because you don't have to take the tires off and things like that. I also highly recommend to do something other than what we did, and that is don't do it out here in a sandy, dirty area. It's just, there's shifting and there's all kinds of just extra complications because you're having to crawl around on an imperfect surface as well as a very slippery surface with all the rocks and dust. So hope you enjoyed us installing our Sumo Springs. We'll give you an update. Don't leave yet. Don't leave yet. I'll give you an update at the end of this video on how they're performing once we hit the road. But I appreciate you staying with us. You know, the 2-hour project turned into a 2-day project, but you know, we are the Wandering Shores and we don't have anything else to do. See you soon. Good morning, and thanks for sticking with us and checking in on how the Sumo Springs are working. So I've got a real life test I can demonstrate how well they worked. So we were up in Lake Havasu and headed down to Quartzsite where we are now. More on that in future videos, but so we dumped at the dump station, and I'm having trouble getting the dump hose off of that Valterra valve. So I just took the whole valve off, put it in the back of the truck, and drove off. Drove from Lake Havasu to Parker, which is about 20 miles or so, maybe more. And when we got to Walmart to pick up some goodies, Michelle realized I had left the cap for the bumper sitting on the bumper just like that. And it was still there 20 some miles later. So that's how smooth it has made the ride on the travel trailer. So thumbs up to Sumo Springs, and thanks again for watching the video, and we'll see you here in the coming episodes. Thanks.